So welcome back, everybody. This presentation today is, as a learning outcome, the intention to weave our work together this week and to exemplify even more why the experiential approaches that I used in the previous two presentations matter to as teachers. And so first of all, let's see what we've learned together. I've been summarizing here some of your interventions by qualifying them. So you can see that Roberta introduced us to funding challenges in cultural institutions, if I may summarize that. Janie convinced us that auditors establish truthfulness, that John demonstrated how colors manifest both outside of us and inside of us. And Usman showed us how abstract art and mathematics actually are not that far apart from a creativity perspective. Jessica navigated from the digital world to the body as valuable tools for teachers to use. That's how I got it. And also, the last but not least, George played with our conceptions about proportions, measurements, and as we've seen in the last one about statistics and the importance of it. But when we look at this diversity of different topics, there's still something that we have in common. So my question is to you, we can identify some awareness that we try to transmit some knowledge as teachers. We can also see that we have some desire to explain difficult concepts, statistics, colors, and so on. We also have in common an understanding of the need to experiment with box. That was the purpose here. What else do you think we have in common? Who wants to say yes? John?
Be better teachers.
Be better, yes.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
I think we're all, well, I guess you have it there, sorry, but we're trying to experiment new things.
We're trying to experiment new things, yes? Okay. So these are two of the elements, but there's more that I'm going to try to show to you now, is that we also have a body. And we try to connect our body to our mind and our mind to our body, so that actually what we're trying to achieve is that, I guess, to get a sense that we can trust, and when we deliver a lecture, actually what we are delivering has been received, assimilated, or actually is challenging or interesting our students. It's a bit like, I would say, being a teacher is like, as you see here, being a little bit kind of in the dark, so to speak, as to what effect our teaching will have, right? Symbolized here by the visualization of when you're like throwing paint onto a canvas. If you don't see where it's going, the picture might be different than what you intended to do, but there will be some result. The other aspect also that we have in common is consciousness. And here what I mean by that is that, through my presentations, I've been trying to make you more sensitive to experience, so to bring into the now of the teaching experience. Our beliefs are socially constructed, historically situated, but also when they are irrational, those beliefs acquire a truth of their own through the actions, for instance, of you walking to the wall and situate yourself in space. So we embody our beliefs, we embody our ideas, we teach some topics that we think are relevant, and we ask students to write papers to embody those ideas. So consciousness plays a very important role, and it brings us back then from our mind to our body, the way we embody our teaching, to becoming conscious of the act of teaching, becoming aware, conscious of the effect of teaching on our students, but also then it allows us to reflect back through the different assessments that we gather, what was the experience about. So I'm going to distribute this to you, and I'm going to ask you to try to look at this blue swirling structure that reflects the blue rectangle that Usman gave to us to look at, and come up maybe with one word for you that would characterize here. If this is the openness of experience, if this is experience, what kind of experience is it? Can you put an adjective to it? Okay, so we're going to move on. What I would say is that our experience somehow makes us feel more spacious, but also kind of adding or subtracting some layer of skin on our persona or on our being. And what I've been trying to do with you is by making you breathe mindfully to connect to your consciousness and to become more conscious that there are some inner tensions that we experience when we're learning, that there are a subtlety of being that manifests when we are teaching or when we're listening to our students or when we're interacting with one another. And that that makes us realize that somehow we are mirroring inside of us the presence of others. That is no, and where am I going with that? Is that there's then in the act of teaching, in teaching for the love of teaching, that we actually experience an unity between the teacher and the student. What seems to be separated, me here, you over there, in reality is a kind of a mosaic that comes together, that within the totality of the experience of teaching and being taught. And that facts, as George demonstrated, even when they're statistically ordered, can be deceptive. That our sense of self and of the other in the same way can also be deceptive. That in reality, we can see the world through our eyes, or we can have the world look at us one way or another, but they communicate together, they can come together. That we are more than what we think we are. We're more than just the basic sense of self that we get, senses of being a teacher. I'm going to skip the example that I was going to present. And then what I want to say here, what I want to propose to you is that the consciousness of teaching and learning creates the classroom. It's that our experience, the being aware of it, makes the teaching. It is no such thing outside the experience itself. And when you open yourself to it, you realize that there's no solidity, no fixity to our experiences. And as quantum theory has shown, consciousness is a field of potentiality. That the substance of the universe is about consciousness. And that beyond the space awareness of the classroom resides a certain self-awareness of the presencing that circulates between us. The power of teaching, then, resides in precisely the possibility to shift our consciousness beyond the contingency of our body being here and the students being there. That there is a space, a commonality, a space that is uniting all of us. And that space is created because of our intention to teach, intention for students, intention to learn. And teaching facilitates change in that sense. Activates the body-mind-heart connections that we have in the classroom within the larger awareness of that openness and that of consciousness to one another. So what that brings me to is that when we think about teaching as energy, as this fundamental energy that creates the classroom or the teaching environment, we understand that teaching creates, transcends, permeates, gives lives and expands, lives and expands similarly to the fundamental energy called love. So the teaching is love. As George Harrison said in his song, Give Me Love, love is everything. And that's what teaching is about. And that's what our students want, right?
and time.